Let's break an illusion right away. Mere goodness rarely keeps you afloat in a ruthless world. If you believe that pure kindness leads to success, you're clinging to a fantasy. Deep down, you sense it's untrue. You've seen how the naive get trampled, how altruism sometimes invites exploitation or ridicule. Think about the moments when others overlooked your contributions, when you offered help and got taken for granted, or when your honesty ended up costing you. Machiavelli noticed this pattern centuries ago. To protect goodness, you need shrewdness. Virtue alone, lacking strategy, can become a liability. In a predatory environment, you've likely admired people who achieved monumental success. Perhaps you thought they reached greatness solely through integrity. Yet, if you study them closely, you'll find cunning beneath their benevolence. Machiavelli insisted that morality, detached from calculated foresight, is a luxury few can afford. Being too pure can be dangerously short-sighted. Machiavelli's The Prince delves into human nature's darker dimensions. He taught that people can be selfish and cruel when circumstances require. Relying on naive virtue invites trouble. A balanced approach, combining ethics with strategic awareness, protects your well-being. Kindness flourishes best when safeguarded by a keen grasp of reality and human motivation. It's not that you must become malevolent. Rather, you must become intelligently kind. Recognize that predators exist, hidden under polite facades. Cultivate a level of watchfulness. Understand that morality doesn't exempt you from others' opportunistic tendencies. Machiavelli never celebrated evil. He promoted survival in a world where illusions can devour you. If you cannot be both loved and feared, then it's better to be feared, Machiavelli famously wrote. Many recoil from this idea, yet consider how easily people dismiss those who seek only approval. Constantly craving acceptance can yield neither respect nor security. Sometimes, a hint of intimidation preserves your boundaries. Reflect on how often you've compromised your principles just to be liked. Did it pay off? Or did others exploit your readiness to please? Machiavelli's stance isn't about cruelty. It's about ensuring your goodness isn't mistaken for weakness. If people assume you can be manipulated, your kindness becomes a strategic handicap. Naivety can be lethal. When you believe everyone plays fair, you set yourself up for betrayal. Machiavelli would advise blending moral decency with an astute grasp of hidden agendas. This balanced approach lets you protect what's virtuous in you without blindly exposing yourself to those eager to capitalize on innocence. Morality alone doesn't guarantee success. The world rewards determination, adaptability, and a firm grip on power. Many philanthropic figures shaped history, but they also knew when to be assertive or even ruthless in negotiation. Machiavelli reminds us that pure generosity, left unguarded, can invite scorn or sabotage from less scrupulous players. Strategic kindness means you discern when to reveal compassion and when to conceal it. Displaying unstoppable benevolence can turn you into a magnet for manipulation. But if you occasionally bare your teeth, people understand you won't tolerate being trampled. Machiavelli emphasized that power and virtue must coexist for effective leadership. Your image matters, Machiavelli stressed that perception wields more influence than objective truth. If people see you as timid, they'll treat you like prey. If they sense quiet strength, they'll approach with respect. Achieving this balance is delicate. Too aggressive, and you lose goodwill. Too gentle, and you become a doormat. How many times have you stayed silent to avoid conflict, only to realize later that your voice had value? Silence can preserve harmony momentarily, but your self-respect might erode. Machiavelli's approach suggests measured confrontation when appropriate. Stand up for yourself before silence morphs into self-betrayal and permanent subjugation. The world craves power above purity. That doesn't mean you should abandon ethics, but you must align them with practical strategy. Power doesn't mean cruelty. It involves commanding respect and shaping outcomes. According to Machiavelli, genuine virtue is more than blind goodness. It's strategic wisdom that fuses empathy with an unflinching grasp of reality. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever extended kindness and received nothing but neglect? Did you blame yourself, or did you recognize that people sometimes exploit generosity? Machiavelli would say, don't stop being kind. Just learn how to defend it. True virtue remains firm only when protected by cunning. Society prizes niceness, yet ironically, it doesn't always promote the genuinely kind. Opportunists with skillful maneuvering often outrank morally upright individuals. Machiavelli's legacy is about not letting illusions dominate you. He encourages vigilance and strategic action. Kindness alone can't stand up to schemers who effortlessly bend naive souls to their advantage. Perception shapes destiny. Competence alone won't lead to success if you appear insecure. People often follow those who project confidence, even if that confidence masks mediocrity. Machiavelli recognized that controlling how others see you can be more decisive than possessing actual merit. Image management is critical to staying relevant and commanding respect. In your life, have you witnessed a manipulator effortlessly climb while honest, hard-working souls remain stagnant? It's not because honesty is worthless, but because some never mastered a game of appearances. Machiavelli doesn't advise abandoning sincerity. He insists that sincerity should be presented in a manner that resonates as powerful, not gullible. Consider how frequently illusions conquer facts. A confident but incompetent individual may overshadow a timid expert. This happens because humans are swayed by narrative and showmanship. Machiavelli understood this phenomenon before modern psychology existed. He understood that robust self-presentation can trump actual ability. In the court of public perception, does truth alone suffice? Many assume good ideas will shine by themselves. But Machiavelli says otherwise. People need compelling narratives to rally behind. If you can't communicate your vision persuasively, lesser ideas might eclipse your brilliance. Being right is useless if you can't leverage your narrative for influence. So, should you become a charlatan? Not necessarily. Machiavelli's teachings advise you to harness storytelling without forsaking integrity. You control the focus of attention, emphasizing key qualities or achievements. You shape how your efforts are perceived. By guiding what others see, you ensure your merits aren't left in the shadows. Information is a potent currency. Machiavelli warned against revealing every intention or secret, explaining that transparency makes you vulnerable. People exploit open books. Maintaining strategic silences can safeguard your position. A swirl of uncertainty keeps your adversaries off balance. Confidently controlling what you divulge and when builds an air of intrigue around you. Imagine how often you've overshared with someone who later used that information against you. We're taught honesty is virtuous, but that doesn't mean carelessly baring your soul to all. Machiavelli believed in managing knowledge, giving people partial truths, or holding back details until it's advantageous. This isn't deception, it's protective wisdom. Discretion can shield you from opportunists. It's not about lying, it's about knowing that certain truths, if revealed prematurely, might be weaponized. Think of how the most successful leaders or entrepreneurs rarely brag about their every move. They operate quietly, releasing details sparingly, ensuring a consistent edge in negotiations or relationships. Speaking less can wield immense impact. A torrent of words often drowns out your real message. Machiavelli championed precision. When you speak thoughtfully, others listen intently. Silence weaves an element of mystery. People lean forward, curious about your next phrase. If you always gush every thought, the air of mystery evaporates. Predictability undermines authority. If your responses, feelings, and decisions are always easily anticipated, manipulative individuals can maneuver you. Machiavelli emphasized unpredictability as a tool of power. If people can't forecast your moves, they'll tread carefully. Uncertainty invests you with a certain form of control, compelling others to adapt rather than exploit. Leaders who are open books are easily undermined. If rivals can foresee their every step, they can launch preemptive strikes. Machiavelli taught that a leader should never be fully decipherable. Reserve some unpredictability. Even small shifts in routine or perspective can keep others guessing, maintaining a valuable aura of potential volatility. Ask yourself, are you the type of person everyone can read instantly? If so, you're gifting your playbook to anyone who wishes to manipulate you. Subtle unpredictability, changing a habit, withholding certain reactions, reclaims some power. Machiavelli's strategies revolve around never letting your adversaries settle into complete confidence about your pattern of behavior. Power belongs to those who understand and master their environment. But the first step is admitting the environment is harsh. If you live under illusions about universal fairness, you'll be devoured. Machiavelli remains a blunt teacher. Survival and influence hinge on confronting life's inherent ruthlessness, then crafting a strategy accordingly. A crucial element is what Machiavelli called the art of strategic distance. If you're constantly available, people start devaluing your time and presence. Absence, deployed wisely, heightens your importance. This principle transcends mere ego. It's a psychological reality. Scarcity triggers desire. Familiarity can breed contempt, or at least complacency. Consider relationships. How often have you poured attention into someone only to be sidelined when they no longer sensed your uniqueness? Abundance dulls appreciation. Periodic withdrawal can spark renewed interest. Machiavelli contended that a prince should be accessible but not overly familiar, thus preserving respect and mystery. This dynamic applies to every sphere: career, friendships, and romance. The more you saturate others with your presence, the quicker they adapt and demand more. Human nature craves novelty and is drawn to what seems elusive. Strategic distance encourages mindful interactions. It ensures that each appearance carries significance. You risk irrelevance if you stay perpetually in the spotlight, desperately hoping for validation. Machiavelli's logic reveals that lesser exposure can enhance your perceived value. By consciously choosing when to engage or withdraw, you cultivate an aura that people genuinely seek out, rather than simply tolerating your ever-present availability. Yet, many fear retreating. They worry that absence means being forgotten. But if your worth hinges solely on constant visibility, perhaps it was fragile to begin with. True substance doesn't vanish with strategic withdrawal. Instead, it becomes more alluring. Machiavelli believed genuine influence intensifies when punctuated by well-timed exits. Look at historical figures with great impact. They rarely inserted themselves into every trivial matter. They observed from a distance and spoke or acted at pivotal moments. Because they didn't chase fleeting popularity, their words thundered with significance when they finally chose to intervene. Timing is everything in Machiavellian philosophy. Emotional control is another cornerstone of power. Many assume that shouting loudest or displaying raw aggression secures dominance. Actually, those who lose their temper easily are the easiest to manipulate. Machiavelli observed that the calm soul remains mysterious. Anger reveals your vulnerabilities. Cold calculation, on the other hand, keeps you formidable. Recall the last argument you had. The instant you lost your temper, you ceded control. The other person dictated your emotional state. Machiavelli insisted that if someone can stir your anger at will, they control you. Emotional regulation forms a shield. It helps you orchestrate the situation instead of becoming a puppet. You're not meant to be emotionless. Rather, you should ensure your emotions don't puppet your actions. Observe them, harness them, but never let them betray your strategy. Machiavelli would advise mastering composure to remain unreadable. When others can't pinpoint your emotional triggers, they can't exploit them for personal gain. Your capacity to remain steady in the face of provocation sets you apart. People often test your limits, hoping you'll snap. If you remain unshaken, they realize they can't break your defenses. This composure demands discipline, but it pays dividends by preventing impulsive mistakes and preserving an image of unflinching power. Finally, Machiavelli revered the concept of strategic patience. Impulsiveness sabotages carefully laid plans. The best tacticians wait for the precise moment to strike. Releasing tension prematurely or making a move out of desperation undermines even the most brilliant scheme. The boldest victories often belong to those who bide their time wisely. Picture a hunter awaiting the perfect angle. Rash action wastes ammunition, frightening away the prey. Machiavelli's world demands a measured approach. Observe your surroundings, discern your rival's patterns. Only after diagnosing vulnerabilities should you make a decisive move. Patience feels uncomfortable, but hasty leaps can deliver you into avoidable traps. Machiavelli believed fortune favors those adaptable enough to align with evolving circumstances. Patience is not passive. It's an active stance of readiness. Mediocre souls flail in every direction, chasing quick gains. The Machiavellian strategist keeps calm, invests energy wisely, and seizes the most opportune juncture to act. That is where mastery resides. Our contemporary world still belongs to those who manipulate perception, manage their resources, and wait for the right moment. If you're driven by instant gratification, you might win small skirmishes, but lose the grand campaign. Machiavelli's lessons transcend eras, reminding us that sustainable power emerges from foresight, not frantic impulsiveness. You can embrace Machiavellian insights without abandoning your moral compass. It's about realism, not evil. Recognizing that kindness, honesty, and empathy need protective armor isn't heartless, it's practical. If you remain pure in a vacuum, predators will tear you apart. By learning the game, you ensure your compassion remains a lasting force. Society remains ruthless, but now you have tools. Mastering your image, limiting your availability, controlling your emotions, and executing patience all shape a new chapter in your personal evolution. You stop being the naive player, letting opportunists dictate your fate. Instead, you pivot into the role of strategic orchestrator. Machiavelli's philosophy calls on you to become an anomaly, someone who refuses to be a passive cog. By applying these ideas, you challenge conventional beliefs about kindness and transparency. You transcend timid compliance, transforming your altruism into a potent advantage. You reclaim the driver's seat, deciding how you'll interact with the world. Still, many continue living within conventional boundaries. They remain predictable, allowing manipulative forces to shape their destiny. Machiavelli saw this as tragic. People cling to illusions of fairness, hoping virtue alone will suffice. Meanwhile, they watch cunning individuals ascend to prominence, never understanding that success requires an intersection of ethics and cunning. Conforming to the default rules dooms you to mediocrity. The system rewards uniqueness, boldness, and deliberate unpredictability. If you replicate everyone else's patterns, you'll vanish into the crowd. Leaving a memorable mark entails stepping outside accepted norms, forging your path, and reimagining what's possible when you merge strategic prowess with a steadfast moral foundation. Your perceived weakness might never have been true weakness. Perhaps you just lacked the knowledge of how to project your strength. Often, the overlooked person is actually brimming with creativity, empathy, and potential. Machiavelli simply begs you to present these qualities in a way that commands attention, not invites exploitation. Once you start aligning your kindness with mindful strategy, others will notice. People who once dismissed you as a mere soft heart will sense something changed. You respond less, observe more. You don't volunteer extra information. You hold your ground calmly when challenged. This shift in energy is both subtle and transformative. Manipulators will think twice. They'll see the quiet confidence, the refusal to be provoked, the enigma in your gaze. They'll realize you're no longer an easy target. Meanwhile, genuine allies might admire your newfound self-possession. You'll draw respect where before you drew pity, or worse, contempt. These insights mean nothing without practical implementation. Machiavelli's legacy rests on action. Knowledge that remains theoretical changes nothing. It's time to incorporate small, meaningful shifts in your behavior. With every choice to maintain silence or moderate your presence, you strengthen your influence. The cumulative effect reshapes how the world treats you. You may encounter moments of doubt. Part of you might yearn for the old familiar ways, over-explaining, over-giving, forever chasing approval. But remember, those habits led you here, searching for answers. Now you know that receding into naive generosity only reopens old wounds. Machiavelli empowers you to defend your best qualities robustly. Begin with discreet experiments. Reveal less in conversation, practice measured distance, maintain composure during tense discussions. Gradually, you'll witness how the environment shifts around you. People might question your new calm or your reduced availability. Let them wonder. Curiosity invests you with authority, an authority built on thoughtful strategy, not empty bravado. Resistance could arise from those who profited from your old behavior. They may guilt-trip you, claiming you've changed or become cold. Recognize this as a sign that your transformation poses a threat to their manipulative comfort. Machiavelli would say, your newly protected self is finally living responsibly in a predatory ecosystem. Eventually, you'll discover a more stable sense of self-worth. You'll no longer rely on external validation because you'll realize your time and energy are priceless. Those who truly appreciate you will adapt to your new boundaries. Those who vanish might have been there for the wrong reasons anyway. Machiavelli's teachings aren't inherently malicious. They're about survival, leadership, and forging a secure foundation for whatever purpose you uphold. If your purpose is compassion, these principles ensure that compassion isn't squandered on parasites, but is instead channeled where it can truly make a difference. That synergy preserves your good intentions. So, we circle back to the central question. Will you integrate Machiavelli's perspective into your daily life, or revert to illusions that keep you vulnerable? If you abandon the knowledge, you'll return to the old normal, an existence marked by frustration, feeling used, and incessant confusion over why decency isn't always reciprocated. Or you can embrace these principles, step into the realm of strategic silence and deliberate unpredictability, merge kindness with caution, elevate your life from aimless reaction to composed maneuvering. Let your moral center guide your ambition while your Machiavellian acumen shields it. This union births a formidable approach to modern existence. Machiavelli urged us to see human nature unfiltered, flawed, hungry for advantage, quick to judge. Yet, with vigilance, we can navigate these waters. We become authors of our own narrative, refusing to remain silent extras in someone else's drama. We direct the story, deciding our role, our boundaries, and our fate. If you've grasped this message, remember the mantra: power is in silence. It's in calculated actions, in measured words. It's in waiting for the right moment, in harnessing composure. Combine that power with genuine kindness, and you'll become a rarity. a benevolent force who cannot be exploited. Precisely what Machiavelli believed true greatness requires.